I don't give a shit about your 1500 SAT score. Eat under 1500 calories a day, and then I'll be impressed. If you treat her better than she treats you, she'll get bored. Don't just give her your attention. Make her earn it. She's not your co-pilot. She's your flight attendant.
Live from Philadelphia, your man, Donovan Sharpe.
What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharpe, and welcome to the 584th edition of TSR Live, your daily dose of red-pilled truth, wisdom, and awareness. We are brought to you, as always, by Gorilla Mind Rush, the #1 non-habit-forming energy and focus supplement on the market. Be hyper-productive and laser-focused for hours with zero crash and zero jitters. Support your productivity and the show by getting your hands on a bottle or 78. Again, go to donovansharpe.com/Gorilla Mind Rush. We are streaming live to Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, vkok.ru. I was going to stream on Instagram, but I decided not to. But of course, we are also streaming on YouTube, so wherever you're watching from, however you're watching, thank you for making the Sharpe Reality Live a part of your daily routine. I will be streaming to my own platform, Sharpe Stream, when I switch gears and continue the breakdown of the Netflix series Love is Blind. And again, guys, understand that Sharpe Stream does not save the videos like YouTube does. Once the stream is over, it's over. In order to get to the point, really, to where the videos automatically post after I stream them, that's going to take a lot of work, and even, really, to be honest with you, even more money, because not only would I have to have a ridiculous amount of storage, which, by the way, is already maxed out, just because the videos have already got up there now, I would actually have to hire someone to do it for me, and those guys aren't cheap. Now, Devin could certainly do it. Absolutely, she could. She's got the knowledge, she's got the know-how, she definitely has the talent, but she doesn't have the time, right? Like, I'd have to hire her as a full-time employee because she simply wouldn't be able to do both her job and help me in that capacity. So while I look for a solution to that, in the meantime, I put all of them up on Patreon the next morning. And you can access all of the Love is Blind breakdowns on my lowest tier, so I don't require to be a $15, a $20, or a $55 patron. For those, you can pledge the lowest. You can pledge the lowest amount. My lowest tier is $5 a month, and you'll have access to every breakdown of Love is Blind. Now, you can watch for free on Sharpe Stream when I switch modes and do that a little bit later on. But if you want to be able to access these breakdowns, patreon.com/Donovan Sharpe is where they will be the following morning. I usually try to have them up, I don't know, I would say usually between 7:30 and 8 o'clock, just depending upon how things are going. So I'm actually glad I was able to delete the other event. Restream is still having problems, the API problems with YouTube, and so when I schedule an event for whatever reason, it just doesn't go through. So I've got to use the Stream Now feature. So pardon me. So using the Stream Now feature kind of throws things out of whack here. At least in the short term. I could certainly use the Stream Now. I certainly could use the Stream Now feature from here on out just to make sure that I never really have to worry about whether or not it's going to go live or not. And I usually do the timer in the beginning. So and then of course, doing the timer in the beginning allows people to get in on the chat, kind of talk, discuss the issue at hand, the matters at hand, etc., etc., etc. So yeah, we'll certainly be doing that probably for the foreseeable future. Pardon me. Took the day off yesterday. I I was kind of, it had been a while since I'd taken a day off. Not that I have to, justify that to anybody, but you guys understand. I work very, very hard. I put in probably a little over 80 hours per week. 80 hours per week, 7 days per week. So I'm always working all the time. I never stop. I mean, I honestly can't remember even on my day off, I still came in here in the studio and set up my new camera slider and all that stuff. But watched a few really cool movies. I watched Midway, which was absolutely positively the best war movie I had ever seen, until of course I watched 1917 right after that. And dude, listen, I can't decide which movie I like better, 1917 or Midway. I honestly, really and truly, I cannot decide. So, pardon me. But after that, we watched Ford versus Ferrari, which was Ford versus Ferrari was spectacular. You guys should definitely need to check that out for sure, because Ford versus Ferrari is definitely a must see for you guys. I certainly appreciate you guys understanding the my need to take the day off. At 6:00 p.m. this evening, at 6:00 p.m. Eastern time this evening, I will be joined by Coach Greg Adams. Coach Greg Adams and I, we have discussed things in the past, and what we are going to do is it's been a while. I actually went on to his show quite a while back. I think it was like maybe back in October, somewhere around there. One second, I need to get my fan closer to the room. Hang on. No. There we go. That's a little better. All right. I can live with that. It gets very, very hot. It gets very, very hot in the studio. And every once in a while. Anyway, like I said, I will have Coach Greg Adams on with me to we'll discuss quite a few red pill topics and things of that nature. So at any rate, let me make sure. Let me see if I have any new emails. I'm actually supposed to have perfect, excellent. At any rate, let's get right to it. I got an email last week from a listener that grabbed my attention. Grabbed my attention immediately. Actually, to be quite honest with you, as soon as I saw it, I was like, okay, this definitely has my attention. The email was from a man in his late 60s who was a Christian, and he wanted to tell me the story of his experiences with Christian women throughout his life. Now, those of you who watch me regularly, you guys know that religion has been sort of a, more or less a side topic, during a few of my episodes. Every so often, I'll sort of veer into the realm of religion as it applies to the subject matter of the episode. And most of you are well aware of the disdain that I happen to have personally for modern Christianity. I don't have a problem with believing in a deity. I want you guys to understand that, okay? I don't have a problem with that because we all have the inherent need to believe in something greater than ourselves. This need is one of the fundamental conditions of the human spirit itself. This is one of the fundamental conditions of the human condition. But religion doesn't have to be a belief in God or gods. There are many religions in the world that have nothing to do with churches or priests or pastors or anything else. And thanks to the internet, most of these religions can be found on Reddit and sites like them. Like-minded people can sort of get together and talk about the things that they feel very strongly about. I.e., I guess the term would be religion. But Christianity today's Christianity is as polarizing as it has ever been in human history. The more devout Christians get, the more aggressive and vitriolic their detractors become. Now, I'm as guilty of anyone for what could be characterized as being a little bit too harsh on Christianity. Lately I've gone on some pretty epic rants on Christianity, but in retrospect, I can certainly understand why some people would be rubbed the wrong way or take offense to what I said. Now, granted, I could not give less of a shit who my opinion ruffles the feathers of, but it would be disingenuous of me to say that in a private moment, I haven't said to myself once or twice, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have been so harsh. Maybe I shouldn't have gone in as harshly as I did. At any rate, the man who sent this email, he did so because he heard me mention in passing that the church harms men by training them to be beta males. So I'm going to go ahead and read his email, and then I'm going to bring him on. I'm going to bring him on to discuss this this particular email with me. I want to make sure that nobody can see his name. Okay, perfect. Excellent. All right, so let me go here. And all right, let me I know I should have had this up already, but all right, that's YouTube. Hang on a second, guys. I know this is bad radio. Why isn't this up? Give me 2 seconds, guys. I do apologize. Where is... There it is. Excellent. Got it. Okay, let me blow this up a little bit so we can all... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this or not, but we'll I don't know. Well, listen, I don't... The writing... Obviously, the writing is very, very small. Let me try something else here. Let me try and... There we go. Let me try and mush it together. There we go. See, I should have done... There we go. I should have done this. I actually should have done this before the show. Every once in a while, guys, I will forget a production responsibility or two here and there. So it happens. I'm not. There we go. All right. So hopefully you guys can see it. See it enough to read. I'm going to read it out loud anyway, so it's really not a big deal. I'm going to remove myself from the screen here. All right, very good. Okay, well, that appears to be big enough. Let me make sure. There we go. Let's see if they can see that. There we go. All right. Well, it looks like that's as big as it's going to get. So, all right. So anyway, the guy's name is Gerald M. All right. He asked to remain completely anonymous, which is fine by me. So his letter says, it says, quote, Donovan, I've been a loyal listener about 2 months now and very reluctantly accept that practically everything you say about women is true. I wanted to offer some thoughts about Christian women, and perhaps you could work them into a show or even build a show around them. He continues, he says, recently you mentioned in passing that you made a video about the church harming their men by training them to be beta males. Well, that's true, he says, but that's our philosophy of life in general. Either you accept that it's a valid philosophy or you don't. Jesus taught that people should be meek, considerate, unselfish, otherworldly, caring about spiritual things, and just barely have enough tension on money, status, etc. to be practical. Sincere Christians, he continues, accept this as the right approach to life, however much it has sounded ludicrous to the rest of the world for 2,100 years. I'm not writing you to defend our belief system, he says, but rather to accuse Christian females of doing nothing more than paying lip service to it. Oh, the church does place massive emphasis on teaching women Christian values in sermons, women's groups, classes, books. They tell women that being a Christian means seek a marital partner who puts God first and not to seek after men with money, looks, charm, social status, and other superficial things. It's drummed into them relentlessly all their lives, but from my observations, he says, over the course of 68 years of life, it goes in one ear and out the other. They talk a good game, he says, but their practical decisions are just like any unchristian woman. They only want alpha males, and given the choice between a Christian beta male and an unchristian alpha male, they always choose the alpha. Their excuse is always, quote, there are no good Christian men available out there. What they really mean is that there are no good Christian alpha males available. I could write an entire book on this subject from a lifetime of observation and experience and anecdotes told to me. By the way, he continues, the divorce rate for Christians is exactly the same for non-Christians. Amazing, considering how much emphasis the church places on teaching people about marriage. You'd think it'd be far lower, but no. It's almost always the wife who files for divorce, citing vague charges of, quote, mental cruelty. And the church always believes them. Men are always automatically assumed to be the one to blame for the marriage's failure. Thereafter, they are shunned and removed from positions of leadership in the church, being regarded as bad examples of Christian husbands. The divorce settlements, far from being amicable, rape the husband blind. All this exactly the same in what the Christians call the world. If a Christian male joins a paid dating group, he says, only alpha males get responses. If you're not an alpha male and extend an invitation to a woman in the club, you'll never hear back from her. When I was living in Connecticut, he says, for years I steadily attended a Christian singles group in Westchester County that met in a church but wasn't affiliated with any organization. Except for the leader, none of the men were alpha males. Women of all ages and statuses threw themselves at him, and he would date them a few times and then admit that they weren't exactly what he's looking for. His standards were very high. He continues, there was a lot of bad feeling against him over this among the women. As for the rest of the men who attended, all beta males or lower, the females wouldn't even talk to them. During the lecture part of the meeting, they sat next to each other, and after the scheduled activities, they just huddled together and ignored any male who tried to talk to them. Same when we had outside activities like hikes and bonfires. There was only one marriage that took place during the entire history of the group, and the woman, who gave a lecture about it, admitted she regarded him as a nerd when she met him and wanted nothing to do with him. In parenthesis, he puts, she presented it as an example of maturing and appreciating genuine Christian virtues, but it came across as she just settled because she didn't have any other options. Clearly, Gerald M. has some red pill awareness. He continues, the group eventually degenerated into 90% men because women would only come once or twice to look around and conclude that there were no decent men in the group and stopped coming. The beta males kept coming anyway because they bonded with their fellow losers and at least got someone to talk to. In Charlotte, North Carolina now, I attend a mega church with lots of young single women and divorcees with kids and a few widows of all ages. They even have in-home luncheons for members to get acquainted and seem to try to put known single men and women together to give them the opportunity to meet. But once the single women see that you're not an alpha male, they won't talk to you, look you in the eye, respond to anything you say, or even look in your direction. An unofficial men's singles group evolved on its own. The men meet before service in a lounge to chat, sit together during church, and after church, go out, spend time fellowshipping together. The age range is from the 30s through 50s. I'm the oldest at a young-looking 68. There are several recently divorced men in the group, fine men with a job, a great sense of humor, amusing and down-to-earth and very practical. Their, quote, Christian wives accused them of, quote, mental cruelty, divorced them, and took most everything they had in the settlement. In parenthesis, he says, this despite being late-life wives by whom they didn't have any kids. The others have never been married. Most have never had a date in their lives. They've given up even attempting to talk casually with women in the church because they're ignored and the women just walk away, or the women angrily accuse them of being wolves. One of those is a guy I think is one of the best men I've ever met. Well-read, knowledgeable, extremely witty, with an appropriate setting, insightful, I don't know if I read that. Yeah, insightful, very active in all sorts of church responsibilities in the choir. I treasure the time I spend with him. I asked him about his experience with women in the church, and he exclaimed, I can't even get them to talk to me. I could go on and on. This is almost done, guys. I can go on and on, but I want to close with the incident that recently led me to discovering you and the Manosphere community. This is all totally new to me. I had a recent rejection that deeply hurt me and made me feel like I'm worthless in life and should never have been born. And in this period of grieving, I started looking for answers on the internet to understand women. That's when I discovered you and Joker, and I feel like the veil has been removed from my eyes. Last October, I moved to a townhouse community, and with the window for my room facing the street, I saw my everyday neighbor, B, with her 3 kids, obviously a single mom. I'd been seeing her leaving with her kids Sunday mornings, and since I was interested in finding a new church, I finally worked up the courage to introduce myself to B and ask about her church. I ended up going with her to church twice. We exchanged phone numbers. I was thinking that we could be friends as next-door neighbors, Christians, and fellow music lovers from musical families. I met her parents who were visiting, and we immediately bonded well. I gave B several presents for her children and offered to teach them piano for free, emphasizing that no strings were attached to the offer. Well, she never made eye contact with me, smiled at me, initiated a conversation, answered my text, thanked me for my gifts, greeted me outside, or took me up on my free offer. She didn't do any of that stuff, guys. Then I had a new roommate move in, a very handsome guy who has lots of women and several kids out of wedlock by various relationships, including an infant at the moment. B makes an effort to greet him and start a conversation, and when she does, she smiles, her voice quivers, and her body becomes tense and nervous. I said to my roommate to feel free to hit on her since she obviously has no interest in me whatsoever, and he replies, I'm not interested in a woman with 3 kids. This rejection hurt me especially bad because of her not even being willing to be my friend. I felt totally worthless and wondered why I'd ever been born when I was destined to be invisible to women by my genes that limited my height to 5'4". Then in my grief, I discovered the manosphere and realized this is what people born to be beta males have to accept, which is why MGTOW is the only answer for us. All my life, he says, I stupidly thought that there must be some sincere Christian woman out there who actually abides by what the church teaches about relationships. That is, to seek a mate who loves Jesus and his teachings about how to live and not to live, I guess that was a typo, for superficial things. I've kept up my end of the bargain by chasing after women who profess to be Christians instead of women who have the largest breasts or highest sex drives. But it appears to me that after a lifetime of experience and observation that Christian women don't keep up their end of the bargain. They are as superficial, shallow, I'm sorry. Give me 2 seconds. Let me drink some water here. There we go. My bad. He says they are as superficial, shallow, avaricious, and unrealistic as any non-Christian woman could be. So that's my rant, Donovan. He concludes, I don't regret my having lived the teachings of Jesus and adopted his value set, notwithstanding how ludicrous my parents and my unchristian friends considered this. However, I do feel deeply disgusted that Christian women don't keep up their end of the bargain and seek for the virtues Jesus recommended instead of wealth, looks, power, charm, and all the superficial things that attract women who weren't Christian. To sum up, I find their attitude towards relationships is no different than women who never set foot in a church in their life. And he signs off by saying, in my 68 years of life. So that was dude, guys, listen, that is absolutely quite the letter. This is exactly why it got my attention. So I'm going to bring on Gerald now, and we're going to have a discussion about this. If you guys have any questions, if you're a member, put them in the chat, and we'll get to them as soon as possible. I will open up the phone lines to the general public here very shortly to have a discussion about this. But let me go ahead and bring Gerald on now. Gerald, are you with me?
I am. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, Gerald. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for making time to be on the show. Obviously, you're a man, you're busy, you have interests, you have things that you have to be doing, but to take time out of your afternoon to come onto my show, I really, really appreciate it. And I think I speak for everyone when I say that.
It's an honor to be on with you. You're doing a great thing for men, and I'm all alert. I've had my gorilla mind rush, so I should be somewhat lucid today.
Guys, listen, I swear to God, I did not pay him to say that. He said that on his own. You have nothing to worry about there. Okay, so Gerald, let's talk a little bit about the letter that you wrote me. First tell me briefly if you can fill in any blanks that the letter had, and then I've got a couple of other questions for you.
More specifically, what would you like me to say?
Well, I wanted to know, I guess, let me just ask you this question now. When did you first start to realize that looking for Christian women might not be the answer? What was the genesis of you saying, wait a minute, maybe I've got it all wrong here. Maybe this isn't the right thing to be doing. What was the event or series of events that led you, I guess, to look up, hey, why can't I figure out women?
No, I never came to that conclusion. Rather, I always realized, because living in the Northeast, there aren't all that many Christians, and I thought, well, there just aren't. It's because there just are so few of them that I'm not meeting any available ones. It took me really until I was in my 40s and 50s to start realizing, when I was starting to meet more, going to larger churches, and say, hey, wait a minute, now I'm meeting them, and I don't understand. They don't want anything to do with me, and I have opportunities with non-Christian women, and so I can't be that worthless. And some of them are quite pretty, and some of them were interested in me, but the Christians, I couldn't get to even talk to me, and same for my friends. And the more, I think one of the things that really helped making me really start to wonder about them was when I joined that group, the singles group, the Westchester singles group that I wrote to you about in the letter that you read. And then I realized, hey, it's not just me. It's not like I just thought, oh, it's just me. I'm the bottom of the barrel.
Right.
But then I saw, look at all these other men. Are they all the bottom of the barrel too? Right. And then I realized only the leader was the only one that they were interested in him. They all threw themselves at him. And after he rejected them, they just left the group, and they just became basically a men's group.
Wow.
That was the moment it really sank in. And when I started to get to know these guys and realize, hey, wait a minute, aren't you supposed to be, you women, aren't you supposed to be looking for your ideal man?
Right. Is
supposed to be someone who acts Christ-like, who lives the way the teachings that Jesus taught, and not supposed to be the one the tallest, the most handsome, and the most money, the one who has the most prestige.
Right.
And you're looking at all the wrong things. That's when it really opened my eyes. And once I started to look around that, then I saw much more. And then, especially when I moved to North Carolina and started attending this mega church, and I saw what was happening. And like I said about this friend of mine in the mega church, who I think's like the nicest guy I've ever met, and I asked him, well, how come you don't seem to have ever had a girlfriend? He said,
right.
I can't even get them to talk to me.
Oh,
and he
wow.
shouted that out. He was so upset. And this is a man in his 50s. He's never had a date in his life.
Wow.
He's as good a Christian as he could be.
Ay, man. That's incredible. Like,
yeah.
The thing is, man, is that a lot of, and I used to be I don't want to say I used to be a Christian, I have a very checkered past when it comes to religion. I was actually raised a Baptist. I was raised in the Baptist church. And the two states, and I've lived all over the country, Gerald. And the fact of the matter is that when you're raised Baptist, you go to one church in one state, one church in another. But the two states that I had the most, I suppose, Baptist training was Washington State and Hawaii. Between those two states, that's what really crystallized or wanted to crystallize my belief in Christ. And then, of course, you grow up and you have experiences and things of that nature. Let me ask you this, though. What was the average age of these women who came to this group? What would you, I know you don't, obviously nobody really knows, but what would you say? What's your best guess on the average age of the women that used to come to this group that they eventually abandoned because there are no alpha males available?
35 to 55.
Oh, wow. So young women didn't come to this group.
No.
Wow. Single motherhood. What's that like? Because honestly, I haven't been to church in years. It's probably, I can't even remember the last time I went to church. I was probably in my late 20s. That's probably the last time I went to church. What is the single motherhood rate like in church? Are there single mothers? I know that there are single mothers that come to church. They don't have really anywhere else to come to. But do women sleep with men in the congregation and have multiple kids by multiple men in the congregation, or do these sort of cover that stuff up?
No, not in. Well, here we're talking about Bible-believing churches.
Okay.
We're not talking about liberal churches.
Gotcha.
We're not talking about Olstein and the prosperity people.
Okay, there we go.
Churches. Okay. We're talking about people who go by the Bible. Now,
okay.
I don't think there's promiscuity in the church, and these single mothers are not from pregnancies that occurred in the church.
Okay.
They're from pregnancies that occurred before they became Christians or as a result of divorces.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, all right.
Which is not to say that people never sleep together in the church.
Of course.
You can be dating someone and you just get carried away and you end up in you fall. It's easy enough to do.
Sure.
Too much kissing automatically leads to sex, even if it wasn't your intention.
Of course.
These things happen, and so that's normal. But as far as the cause of the single mothers, no, it's either they became Christians after they caroused, rode the carousel when they were young, or they're a result of divorces.
Okay, very good. I'm going to read out I'm going to shout out a few super chats here before we get back to my special guest, Gerald M. Fabian H. With the £5 He actually gave me 5 and then £3 He says, hope life's treating you good, Donovan. Appreciate that total of £8 super chat. Graham Miller with the $10 super chat says, the Art of Manliness article, quote, the feminization of Christianity explains that only the Western Christian Church is feminized. Eastern Orthodox Christian Church has a 50-50 gender ratio and is more patriarchal. What are your thoughts on that, Gerald? He says that only the Western Christian Church is feminized. In your opinion, has the church, just based on your opinion, your experiences, do you think the modern Christian church has been feminized?
Well, again, we're talking about, we have 3 different factions. We have the liberals, which are the Methodists, the Episcopalians, the Presbyterians, and the pastors in those churches are almost entirely either gay males or feminist women.
Okay, all right.
Who may or may not be gay. We're not talking about them. I'm talking about the Bible-believing churches, and they are still very, very much into following the biblical rules that women are not supposed to be in leadership. They can teach a Sunday school. They can host a symposium. There are lots and lots of things they can do, but they cannot be a pastor. They cannot be take positions of high authority.
Okay.
Lots of other things they can do, but not positions of high authority.
Okay. Why do you now? It's obvious to you. You said, "Hey, listen, I've listened to you for a long time, and it's clear that the church betifies men." Why do you think the church betifies men? Number one, and I guess a follow-up question to that is, do you think the church betifies men on purpose? Do you think it's by design, or do you think it's by accident?
It's merely a function of what the Bible says. Jesus was very specific, and particularly his Beatitudes and his Sermon on the Mount. He talked. His theme was so often about. It was counterintuitive. That is to say, be kind to your, love your enemies, pray for those who abuse you, turn the other cheek when somebody hits you, to hit your other cheek.
Right, we've heard all that.
All these counterintuitive sort of things. At the Last Supper, before he was crucified, he washed the feet of his disciples to show them this is the kind of person you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be a giving person who puts everyone else before himself, the opposite of an alpha male. So his own teaching was, yes, you're supposed to be beta males. So that's not my criticism. That's how it's been from day one. And people, you know, the funny thing is that people think there's criticism of the church only started recently. No.
Right.
As early as the 2nd century, you had Christian apologists writing letters back and forth between Greek philosophers, and the Greeks was saying, hey, look, I understand your philosophy, I understand the ideals, but it's stupid and unrealistic. Nobody can live that way.
Right.
So you see, I can absolutely understand that point of view, that it's not a realistic philosophy. But if you buy into that philosophy, then you've got to live that way. And for the problem is that for the women, and the women have always been the majority in Christian churches from day one.
Right.
They're supposed to be saying, okay, I love Jesus. I love Jesus because he's a beta male. He's the perfect beta male. Well, I should be looking for, that should be my ideal in a marriage as well, that I'm looking for a man like Jesus who is a servant and puts everyone else first and is not looking to have the attention and the money and the prestige.
Right.
That's what they're supposed to be looking at. If they've become part of the religion, that's supposed to be their deal.
Right.
And it isn't.
Right.
They
Right.
talk about it. They when they lead a symposium or a Sunday school class or go to talk to other women about it, they say all this. But when they actually comes to choosing a mate, there is no different at all from the women, non-Christian women.
Right. Right. What do you attribute this to? Because I agree with you, Gerald. I believe, and you can, and I don't want to put words into your mouth here. And by the way, guys, the phone lines are open, 914-205-5356, 914-205-5356. I'm only going to leave them, the phone lines are going to be open for about another 12 minutes. If you can get into the queue in 12 minutes or less, you will get on the show. So if you want to talk about this, 914-205-5356. Here's what I think, Gerald. I believe that 50, 60 plus years ago, I think that living the Christian way, being that good Christian man, was absolutely positively good enough. I believe that if you lived by Christian values, Christian virtues, and you looked for women who had Christian values and Christian virtues, who were looking for virtuous Christian men, that was the right way to live. So what do you think? Because I agree with you. I think that men should definitely be living that way. But the problem is that women don't, it's not that they don't allow us to, but if you want to be successful with women, then being a good Christian man doesn't seem to be the way to attract women. So what do you think is the biggest reason why women don't respond well to good, well-meaning Christian men?
Well, obviously it has to do with the change in society that
feminism.
They're now free. They no longer have society imposing values on them, the general society. I'm not here talking about the church. I'm talking the entire society, where you have to be faithful to your husband, or divorce is a disgrace, and you can't be promiscuous. So society itself has changed.
Right.
Now, here's the question, and this has to do, Donovan, with a fundamental difference, I think, is between you and Joker, and I'm not sure who's right.
Okay.
You agree on everything else, the two of you, except that you think women's behavior is strictly genetic. This is how they are want to act, unless you have the strict social behavior where they're punished if they're not.
Okay.
But given their nature, they would be promiscuous. Joker would say he goes more on the feminism bit, that if women, that is really feminism that is so pervasive in society that they've changed, and we could answer this that either way, that by your point of view, you could say that, well, society no longer held them accountable, so now they can just do whatever they want.
Right.
So
right.
they're acting, Christian women are acting how they really want to act all along.
Okay.
But Joker might say, well, it's that feminism is so all pervasive in society that it's just, they don't even realize how much of it, Christian women don't realize how much it's they've absorbed of it.
Right.
They know in their mind about what the Bible teaches, but in their soul, they're completely swamped with feminism. And as far as which is the explanation, I can't say. They're both possible.
Right.
But it's certainly the change in the social atmosphere that has led them to either become what the sluts that they were always born to be, or or that they simply unwittingly let feminism come in.
I actually think we're both right. I think that Joker and I are both right. I'm right in that women are genetically predisposed to seek out the best masculine genes, okay? And when I say the best masculine genes, these are men who are dominant. They're tall, they're good looking, abs, they're very bold, they're very forthright. Now, dominance and alpha males come in all colors, shapes, sizes, and types, and this and that and the other. But by and large, most women, 100% of women, know what an attractive man looks like that they would absolutely sleep with. But here's the thing. They've been like this since the beginning of time. Eve committed the first sin. Like, she's the one who committed the original sin. The serpent didn't go after Adam because Adam's a man. The serpent knew that Eve, being a woman, would be much more susceptible to the wiles of temptation. And so I believe that I think that Christianity and religion is very good in that it is a construct that that how can I put this? It's a construct that keeps a woman's desire or hypergamy, if you will, in check. If you are this is the thing.
That's brilliant,
right,
Donovan. That's absolutely brilliant.
Well, that's what this is.
I never thought of that before.
Right, but here's what you have to think about. Okay, let's just say that there is a Christian woman who, let's just say it's back in 1942, right? There's a Christian. Sally is married to Harold. They're both good Christian people. Sally lost her virginity to Harold. They're good. They have 2 kids. Blah 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 blah. Well, guess what, Gerald? If Sally sees Stephen in the congregation, her being a Christian is not going to make her automatically not be attracted to tall, square-jawed Steve. What keeps her from pursuing an illicit relationship with Steve is her commitment to her husband, her Christian values. Not only that, is back in 1942, the consequences for pursuing a relationship outside of your marriage, especially for a woman, had dire consequences. They were shamed. They were given the scarlet letter. I mean, all sorts of stuff. There was no bailouts for women back in 1942, right? So even though Sally really wants to fuck Steve, she really does truly love Harold. But that doesn't mean that Sally's not sexually attracted to or sexually aroused by Steve. It is the Christianity and the infrastructure itself that keeps her from pursuing a relationship with Steve. You fast forward 65 years, it's not like that anymore. We have women in church sleeping with other men in church unbeknownst to their husbands. And the reason for that is because feminism has now infiltrated the church. The church, and a lot of people, myself included to a point, a lot of people believe that religion was instituted by men to keep to keep women in check. Because I'm here to tell you, and I know that you're kind of new to this stuff here, Gerald, but in case you haven't figured it out, a woman's default programming is to self-destruct. Anytime a woman is given complete and total control over anything, she destroys it. Her children, the church, relationships, marriage, the sexual marketplace. Anytime women have complete and total control over anything, they utterly and completely destroy it. Men back in the day, and I mean back in the ancient day, they knew a woman's true nature, and so they created infrastructures to keep a woman's hypergamy and her self-destructive ways in check. That has been worn away over the last 60 years with feminism, and we have the shit show, pardon my French, that is the Christian church. So Gerald, listen, man, let me get your final thoughts here. I'd like to ask you one last question, because I've got quite a few callers in the queue. I imagine this is probably going to be a hotly debated topic here. What would you advise? Let's say let's say there's a 25-year-old guy out there, 25 years old. He's a decent guy. He's handsome. He has a good job. Has a good life. But he goes to church and he says he's looking for a Christian woman. What would you tell that 25-year-old who says, Gerald, I'm looking for a Christian woman in the church. I need your advice. What should I do? What do you tell that kid?
Maximize your strengths, your non-Christian strengths. That is to say, aside from being a Christian, you want that to be good too, but you also to put yourself over the top. Be fit, be in good shape, earn as much money, have a good job, have a home. And these things are absolutely necessary now for that. Being a good Christian man is not enough. You've got to be the alpha male too. So try to be both.
Very good. Very good. Gerald, listen, I greatly, greatly appreciate you making the time for me today. Thanks for coming on, man. I do appreciate it. And interestingly enough, guys, notice the advice that Gerald gave to our mythical 25-year-old, right? The advice that Gerald gave to our 25-year-old who is going to church is the same advice that red pill guys give to you guys. He says, maximize your strengths, get in good shape, make as much money as you can. It's the same thing. So for anybody out there, and I would, and listen, I know that there are a lot of Christian guys who take in and consume red pill content. And I know there are Christian men who are now red pill aware. I believe they are starting to realize and understand that just because a woman says that she is a God-fearing woman, she may very well be, but that does not mean that she is not a slave to her biology. That's just all there is to it. It doesn't matter what a woman's religion is. They're always going to go after the highest value, most sexually attractive men available to her. And I've said this before. Women don't have a belief system. Women don't have a religion. Women only believe what the strongest men believe. If the strongest man in her life is a devout Christian, praise be to God in the highest. If the strongest man in her life happens to be a staunch atheist, there is no God. If the strongest man in her life is a Muslim, all praise be to Allah. It doesn't matter. Women follow the strongest men. Women don't go to churches because of their husbands unless their husband is the strongest man in that woman's life. And even then, he risks, in today's church environment, husbands risk not being the strongest men in their lives because a woman's hypergamous ways and the church's very permissive nature and all of the scandals with pastors sleeping with parishioners. Even a man who has full control of his household, his wife and his children and his brood, it's an incredible risk to bring your wife to church because women's hypergamy is out of control. It is encouraged to be out of control. So that's what I'm gonna have to say on that. Again, thank you very much to Gerald M. For coming on to the show. All right, I'm going to read a few super chats here, and then we're going to go ahead and hit the phone lines. Zarvis19 with the $5 super chat says the answer is Eastern Orthodoxy. It is
90 seconds.
90 seconds to get in the queue, y'all. He said it is patriarchal. The women are more feminine, and they are frankly a better deal for BM. I don't know what BM means. Get out of the McChurches. The Steel Curtain with the $5 super chat. Appreciate that. He says, having been raised in the church myself, I concur with Gerald about Christian women. I swore them off about 6 years ago. They're worse than the women of the world. Guys, I say this all the time.
60 seconds.
I say this all the time. Christian women are worse than women who are not Christians. I say this all the time. Just because a woman is a Christian doesn't mean she's a good woman. A woman is a good woman because you make her that way. Her Christianity or her belief system has nothing to do with it, I promise you. Age of Machines with the $5 super chat says, the nexus of women who have both a coochie card and a Cosmic Cabana Boy get out of jail free card is more lethal than any devil conceived of. Wow. Well said. I just realized that my other camera light's not on, so give me 2 seconds here. Let me go turn that on. Something else I forgot. There we go. Perfect. All right. See if you guys can see me a little bit better now.
10 seconds.
Okay, let me see here. All right, perfect. All right, excellent. Okay, yeah, looks like you guys can see me a little bit better now. All right, perfect. I appreciate that super chat, Age of Machines. Give me 1 second. One just skipped. Oh, wow, they're coming in fast and furious. Eyelash with the 5 British pounds. He says, Christianity is red pill. Feminism got into churches to change the structure. The apostolic Paul, the apostle Paul, I guess, clearly said women should not speak on the pulpit. I agree, man. I agree. Merciless 6 with the $10 super chat. He says, I'm a recovering Christian myself. Christian women always complain about churchmen being passive and not manning up. Muslim women wouldn't dare address since they believe in going to hell for criticizing men. I say this all the time, guys. Say what you will about Muslims. You can agree or disagree with what they do or don't do. But them niggas got their bitches in check. Muslim men have their women in check. Straight up. And I don't want to hear this, well, Muslim women are starting to, listen, they can start to do whatever the hell they want. Muslim women, they be checking their women. Those are as far as the religions are concerned, as far as I know, Muslim women are the best behaved when they're with Muslim men. That's just all there is to it. John Alba with the $5 super chat. And I guess I should have gotten to this a little bit earlier. He says, can you ask Gerald if he ever came across any Bible script that supports Rollo's ideas of enlightened self-interest? Thank you. John Alba, I think that question is probably even above my pay grade. Jesus Christ. Listen, I appreciate the super chat. That is well above. That's above my head. Probably would have been above Gerald's. Adarius Isaac says with the $5 super chat says this is some good content. Appreciate that. Scuthus just became a member of Chat Privileges. Man First with the $5 super chat. He says, you speak cold truths on how race affects your place in the sexual marketplace. How does being a South Sudanese African who's born in the United States affect my sexual market value? I'll put it to you this way. It really depends upon what you look like, Man First. If you are, listen, if you're in shape, if you have your shit together, you as a black man, as an African man, you really should have plenty of options with women. You should. If you have your shit together, you're going to have plenty of options with women. If you were white, you'd have more options with women. Fortunately for black men, I don't know, maybe I'm being biased here. White guys are at the top of the sexual food chain. This is just how it is. But I believe that black men are not too far behind. So you being South Sudanese, obviously it affects your sexual market value in many ways. But as long as you have your shit together, you will have more options with women. The better off, the more financially responsible you are, the better a shape you're in, the more control you have over your frame. Having your shit together, the more options you will have as a man. Appreciate that. Scoothus with the $10 super chat says, since coming to the red pill, I've wondered about the part of the part of the curse in Genesis 3:16 against the woman, quote, your desire shall be contrary to your husband, but he shall rule over you. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I just described to Gerald. Sally and Harold. Sally sees Steve. She wants to fuck Steve. She's a woman. She has eyes, right? She has a vagina. She has sex. She has sexual desires. But again, back in the day, Christianity, women actually took Christianity seriously. They took Christianity seriously. Feminism was not even thought. Well, feminism was in the grassroots stages, I suppose. And there were the consequences were much more dire for women when they cheated on their husbands. Not so much today. Liang Bentley with the $10 super chat with a cute little emoji that says, thank you. Appreciate that. All right, let us go to the phone lines. Let us go to area code 727. Area code 727. You're on Live with Donovan. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Donovan, this is Slayer from Tallahassee.
Say your name again?
Slayer from Tallahassee.
Slayer from Tallahassee. How you doing, Slayer?
I'm doing good, man. How about yourself?
Doing good.
And, man, I agree 100% of what you're saying. The church is just filled with, betas right now.
Yes.
And, honestly, I just think it gives them, comfort and security that women are not getting from them. And here is, something I want to add that's quite important. That it's a pretty big warning of, church girls that guys are chasing. Is that I think they're using Christianity right now as a veil to hide all their sleaziness.
Woo! Wow. Wow. That is a very good point, dude. Very good point. Yeah. Listen.
And I got here. I'm living proof of that because. Do I have time to share a short story?
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, make it quick though. I've got other callers, but I want to hear it. Go ahead.
No problem, man. I have been on a church retreat last year for FSU college students.
Okay.
And let me tell you something, man. FSU is the biggest whorehouse on the planet. It puts Playboy Mansion to shame, dude. And
wow.
Goodbye.
Jesus Christ. I've heard that Florida State is up there with the biggest
pool.
party schools in the country, along with Arizona State. Basically anywhere there's good weather. So anyway, you're at the pool.
Yeah. And I go and sit in the hot tub because that's where all the chicks are hanging out.
Of course.
And the closest one that I sit to is a hot little Asian chick. And literally not even 20 minutes after we started chatting, we're already back at the beach condo doing 69.
There you go. Just like that, man. It took you 20 minutes.
That.
It took you 20 minutes. How much you want to bet after the Asian girl gets done? And thanks for the call, Slayer in Tallahassee. How much do you want to bet this little Asian girl who it took Slayer, less than 20 minutes to Slayer? How much do you want to bet when and if she ever becomes a single mom, she's going to try to use religion as a veil? That is probably the best observation as far as Christianity that I've heard. Women use Christianity to hide their slutty tracks. I'm a Christian, so I must be a good girl. Very good. Excellent call. Aaron Dashiell with the $25 super chat. He says, so true. The ex-wife is a Bible thumper, took me for over $500,000. Now she's miserable and can't find a man. She meets soy boys in California. Haha, great. He says, appreciate that super chat. Aaron Dashiel. JB84 says, FSU equals hoe house. Girls be looking bad out, man. Hey, check this out. Girls in Florida look good. Girls in Arizona look good. The hotter the weather, the less clothes they wear. That's what I've been told. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. Let's go to area code 973. 973, you're on live at Donovan. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Greg from New Jersey.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, good. All right, so Donovan, you're black and I'm black. You were grew up in the Baptist church, right?
That's right. Yep.
And I actually grew up in the African Methodist Episcopal Church, so that's like Martin Luther King days. Like that's our domain.
Right.
So I don't know anything about the Baptist church, but I can tell you a lot about the AME church. And what I see in the AME church now is that there are actually more women than there are men.
Wow.
And in my church, actually, the man, one of the founders of the church, when he became a bishop and left for South Africa, there were 2 pastors, and all of the black men a part of that church actually left. And
really?
most of the young guys, the young black men, actually left, myself included. And it was because like the changes in culture, and also like women having more of a stronghold, actually affected, that whole stronghold of the church.
Yeah.
And it was hard, and it was hard for us to, and it was hard for me to see, because I went back not too long ago, and almost all like our Boy Scout troops, non-existent. Most of the male young men things are really non-existent. Like most of it is for women, so it's not really for us anymore. And it's not the red pill that's going to save the black culture, and it's not going to be the church saving the black culture. It's literally the black counterculture. It's literally black counterculture that's literally saving these men. I mean, I'm saying like red pill. I mean, it does save men, but literally like black counterculture, I would say like the black counterculture is really saving us. Really.
What is the black counterculture? I don't think I've ever heard that term before.
Like I'm saying, like either you're finding your own self, or like literally it's like we still have rap, gangster rap, and all this other bullshit that's still going on, but that's literally saving us. Because like when I was growing up, I grew up in a different time. I grew up in like the white neighborhood, so it was like me finding like rock, metal, and all that other stuff. That really saved me from going like completely 180 in the church. But I mean, that's what I can say.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense. Well, thanks for the call, Greg in New Jersey. Yeah, I guess what he was talking about, black counterculture, any sort of, gangster rap. That's actually probably a good observation. It's probably a good name for it. All right, let's continue here. Let us go to area code 770. Area code 770. You're on live at Donovan. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Donovan. This is Red Pill Medic in Texas.
Hey, Red Pill Medic. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. What's on your mind, man?
So, a long-time listener, but I wanted to talk about the fact that he said, basically Jesus taught to be a beta. That's absolutely not true at all.
Okay.
And I think the reason he did that is because the same reason a lot of people do, where he took some of the attributes that Jesus taught and some of the attributes of God, and he made those higher than other attributes, which is not possible, because that's what makes God God, is all his attributes are equally strong.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. I like that. And real quick, Red Pill Medic, before I let you go, I don't think. Oh, never mind. I thought I turned off. Oh no, I turned off one of my monitors. I think that, and I think his heart was definitely in the right place. But when he says that the church teaches men to be beta males, what he means to say is that what the church teaches, and he and I talked about this, what the church teaches men to be and how to be is considered beta behavior today. You understand what I'm saying? Back then, the same behavior, actually being kind to women, treating women like ladies before they proved it, that was the gentlemanly way to be. It's not like that anymore. Men are punished for being good to men. I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, I totally agree. And that's, in my opinion, where the red pill comes into play, is you have to understand that may be what they're teaching, but that's not what works, obviously. Yep. And it's not it's where you have to say, okay, this is what they're teaching, this is what they say works, but all the men out here who are actually doing it and who've actually had success and know what works,
Right.
they're saying do something else.
Yep. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Thanks for the call, Red Pill Medic. Yeah. Listen, I agree with him. I don't think the church teaches men to be beta. I just think that what the church teaches men to be like is outdated. It's antiquated. And I guess this is why they've rewritten the Bible. There's 100 different versions of the Bible, but I don't know. Do pastors know? Do preachers know what's really going on out here in these streets? Dude shouldn't be turning the other cheek. Dude shouldn't be, laying their jacket down over a puddle and letting it. No, like that kind of stuff gets laughed at. That kind of stuff gets you labeled as creepy. It's a shame, but it's true. Big thanks goes out to the Sea Bear with the $100 super chat. The $100 super chat from the Sea Bear. He says, I've never had anything to do with religion, always found it boring, so this is very intriguing to me, especially with all the different viewpoints. Yeah, that makes sense. Appreciate it, man. He says, anything for the show, man. I greatly, greatly appreciate. You guys have always been very generous to me, man. You guys will never know. You guys will never know how much I appreciate your generosity. You guys come through. You guys come through for me each and every show, man. It is, and again, I don't want to get off on a tangent. I never take for granted that this is my job. And this is 100% because of you guys. I'll be indebted to you guys for, a million lifetimes. You guys will never ever know just how much. Joe Smith with the $5 super chat says the Bible, especially the Old Testament, is extremely red pill on women. This I agree with. He says the modern church preaches money and comfort, not the truth. Wow. Great comment there by Joe Smith. Holy shit. C-Dub with the $5 super chat says Christianity covering women's promiscuous past is spot on. Being a born-again virgin, quote-unquote, doesn't wipe out a stratospheric notch count. Great episode. God damn. Stratospheric notch count. Holy shit. Appreciate that. Chase LeBeau with the $5 super chat says, remember Jennifer Hudson cheated on David Otunga with a church drummer. See? There you go. If you go to church, listen, if you're looking for a good Christian woman, you're not going to attract Christian women unless you have a place of authority in the church. Church drummer, choir director, pastor, deacon. I don't know what positions there are in church. I'm sure there are probably new ones all the time. But that's just like in life. If you want to be attractive to women in any context, you have to have some authority. Now, obviously, the person with the authority is the President Donald Trump. But if you can't be the authority, you really have to work on yourself. Very, very good comment there by Chase LeBeau. All right, let's go to area code 724. Area code 724. You're on live at Donovan. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, what's up, Donovan? This is Pimped Out Geese down in Butler.
Oh, what's going on, dude?
I just wanted to. Hey, what's up, man? Very interesting topic. I'm a Christian man.
Okay.
Was raised in the Baptist Pentecostal church background. So anyway, let me preface this just by saying I'm not really trying to persuade anybody to become Christian or anything like that. I respect everyone's opinion, and that's all fine and all that jazz.
Sure.
But one thing I just wanted to state was that, you guys have mentioned it multiple times. The times are so different now.
Yeah.
The times are so different. A lot of the things I've mentioned in the Bible, they still work. You can still be alpha and turn the other cheek. And here's what I mean by that. When I say that, I mean I don't have to go out and attack everybody who comes at me. Like if this guy's really trying to get at me, I can just ignore him and go my own way.
Right. Of course. Right.
So I always differentiate. Here's how I handle this whole thing with Christianity and the red pill, the manosphere. I differentiate the two.
Okay.
There's the religion, my belief and my faith and all that good stuff. And then there's also, okay, now this is how you interact with people, mainly women, and this is, I know, but the manosphere, this is the way that I need to treat these women in order to achieve the goal that I want. And that's just kind of how I took the whole thing,
Right. Anyway, Oh, no, okay. All right. Well, I appreciate the call, Pimped Out Geese. And listen, he makes a good point. Just because you're in the church doesn't mean, I don't know, how can I put this? If you're a Christian man and you have found the red pill, I mean, listen, if you want to continue to be a Christian, that's perfectly fine. You just have to understand that you're going to have to use red pill game, right? Listen, dread game works on church girls just as much as it works on non-church girls. Church girls like alpha males as much as non-church girls. This is the way it goes. So if you want a Christian woman, that's all well and good. But the only difference between a Christian woman and a non-Christian woman is that a Christian woman says she loves Christ. That's really the only difference. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. Area code 239. Area code 239. You're on live at Donovan. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yes, you're on live. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, wow. What's up, man? It's like the first time I ever called, so I'm surprised I'm even on it.
No problem.
I'm calling from Fort Myers, Florida.
Okay, and what's your name?
My name is Louis.
Oh, okay. Lewis in Fort Myers. What's on your mind, Lewis?
This whole thing with church and whatnot, man, I think really is more of a matter of common sense. Unless you're on like a mission and Jesus is like forcing you, or should I say, you have to be like in total obedience to God,
right?
For whatever reason. But it's really common sense life. A woman is a woman regardless what she believes in.
Right.
But I do think there is a difference. Like if you find a quality, God-fearing woman that has some kind of sense, as opposed to just a totally worldly woman to some degree, I think there is a difference. But I wouldn't put all my eggs in one basket and just.
Yep, that makes sense. So in other words, what you're saying, Lewis, is that you wouldn't put all your eggs in one basket and only limit your dating pool to the church, right?
Yeah, of course not. Like, for example, God knows what kind of woman you like, right? You could be like, oh, I want God to help me find my mate, or you can just literally find one yourself, and that will work just as fine. It's really a matter of, like I said, common sense.
Okay, very good. Well, thanks for the call, Lewis. Listen, he's right. Again, you can, I don't know, like I understand a Christian man, a man who believes in Christ, also wants a woman who believes in Christ. But I'm here to tell you guys, if you are a staunch, devout Christian and you have your shit together, whether or not a woman is in the church or of the world, she's going to follow you as long as you have your shit together, guys. It doesn't matter. Like, Chris Hemsworth, I always use him as an example. If a man who looked like Chris Hemsworth, and the reason I always use him is because he shares a birthday with me and he's the best looking dude that I can think of. But if Chris Hemsworth starts dating a girl and on the second date or on the first date, he fucks her, oh, by the way, we're going to church on Sunday. You know what she's not going to say? She's not going to be like, oh my God, you're one of those Christian guys. You're a Jesus freak. Totally not going. No, she's going to be like, all right, cool. I'm going to dust off my Bible and I'm going right with you. Because she likes the guy. If a woman really likes you, she'll adopt whatever religion you are affiliated with. That's just all there is to it. So, again, if you think that by getting a Christian woman, this means that she'll be more likely to follow you in the church, you're wrong. You can get the most secular, worldly woman you can think of. If you have your shit together and she follows your lead and you do everything that you need to do to keep your act together, guess what? All praise be to God. She'll go to church right with you. Cannoli 76. That's actually a very cool, very cool handle. With the $5 super chat, says, called out my post-wall mother for getting back into church, going to just date hot young guys, and she just lost, and she lost it. She knew I knew and hated that. Wow. That's pretty good. But again, women don't get mad if it ain't the truth, right? If someone, dude, I've got a guy, he trolls me all the time. He calls me up, Donovan Sharpe, you ain't shit. You talk like a white boy, you ain't nothing. You want to know why I don't get mad at that guy? Because it's not true. Like, it's just not true. That's why your mom gets mad at that, Cannoli. That's funny. Focus Hard with the $5 super chat says, agreed, good content. Please support Black Professor Truth. That's funny. John Bachman with the $200 super chat. John B. He and I are very familiar with one another. We write back and forth on the regular with the $200 super chat. Holy smokes. And he just texted me. So John B just texted me. Appreciate that. Oh, shit. He just texted me. He said the $200 super chat was actually supposed to be $20. Gotta love the typo. So John B, who just sent in the $200 super chat, apparently he added an extra zero. But I appreciate that, John. I appreciate that, John. I'll tell you what, John. I'll tell you what. I'm going to give you, I don't know if you've bought my audio course yet or my video course, How to Master the Game, yet. If you haven't, send me an email, John. Send me an email, John, and I'll send you one for free. You don't have to worry about that. Merciless6 with the $5 super chat, and we'll get back to the phone lines here in just a second. With the $5 super chat, says, church is really not for young women anymore. When was the last time you seen thoughts on the gram taking selfies in a pew? Right? Posing for Christ. Out here trying to get this, out here trying to get the Lord. No. Very good observation. Pimped Out Geese with a $5 super chat says, I will agree that women will absolutely use the name of religion to cover their past and behavior. Real talk. Real talk. Universal FOA with the $2 super chat. He says, in Islam, we are going to direct the vehicle. See that? You see that? He says, in Islam, we are going to direct the vehicle. You're goddamn right. Dude, I'm telling you, Muslims have they have their bitches in check. Stephen Vieting with the $5 super chat says, Jesus was not beta. Look how he treated his disciples when he got out of pocket. Very quick to correct. Okay. All right. Yeah, listen, man, Jesus was absolutely an alpha male. He absolutely was. Excellent. Yeah, you guys are liking that John text message. That was actually quite funny. Appreciate that, YouTube. Appreciate that. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. Let us go to area code 832. Area code 832. You're on live with Donovan. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Donovan. This is Mark from Texas. How's it going?
Mark in Texas. How you doing, man? What's on your mind?
Hey, so I had a question for you, but it's something that you just recently said. So let's say you have like this alpha dude, and you think he could just tame the most left-wing feminist. That wasn't my original question, but you said, on the premise that, hey, if you're alpha, you're strong, you're a leader, you can lead women. So is that true even in the most extreme circumstances? But that wasn't my main question. I hope you could quickly answer that, and then I wanted to move on to another question.
The answer is yes. If you have your shit together, if you are, quote, alpha enough, and I hate using the word alpha, but alpha is shorthand for a man who is attractive to women, who has himself together, and that encompasses many things. I think we all know what they are. Yes, if a woman is super liberal and wants to, listen, this is true in my own relationship. When I met Devin was a lefty. She was very left-leaning, but guess what? All that shit went away when she got with your boy, right? As a matter of fact, we were on the phone election night, and she was rooting for Donald Trump. She was Miss Leftist and this and that and the other. She thought George W. Bush was this and that and the third. Guess what? If she thinks that way, I wouldn't know it. Every once in a while, she'll let it slip, but she follows my lead in that regard. And she was as liberal. Listen, she's a pretty blonde white girl from Florida with big tits. What do you think she's going to be into, right? What do you think she's going to be conservative? No. What was your next question?
Right. So this is a hypothetical, and this is something based on something I listened to Stefan Molyneux several years ago. So in this hypothetical, I just want to see what your answer would be. So let's just say, we wave a magic wand, and I know some people don't like doing hypotheticals, and
That's
we just
fine.
all of a sudden lived in this free market, like no government assistance. It's just a free market, mostly free market situation. What do you think the state of the West would be at that moment? Like, especially with all the beta behaviors that are exhibiting now, but let's set that in that framework of a free market system. What do you think would happen? Where the government wasn't abusing, it wasn't favoring men or women, it was just an entirely equal libertarianist system. And that was my question. Thanks.
Yeah, listen, I think that the sexual marketplace would still be fucked up, not as fucked up as it is. And the one reason for that is if it really were an unbiased government. In other words, a government that rewarded men and women and punished women and men equally, I still think the dating market would be a shit show, but not as much as a shit show, because obviously what you're talking about is not giving women the ability to get free government handouts if they are married without children, if they have children out of wedlock. Women, listen, if a woman had a kid out of wedlock 50, 60 years ago, she was ass out. That was all there is to it. But these days, if you have children out of wedlock, you get money, government assistance, free housing, free food, free healthcare, free tuition, all that stuff. So I think it would make a little bit of difference, but not a difference big enough to really, it would move the needle, but not enough to not have created the red pill in the MGTOW community. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Appreciate that. Thank you for that. Thanks for the call, Mark in Texas. Yeah, that's an interesting question. Like, I wonder what the sexual marketplace would be like if it were really sort of a, free market government. Mehdi Naha with the €5 super chat says, "Hey Donovan, greetings from Morocco. Great content. A quick question, if you mind. How do you become a man?" Thanks, man. Keep up the good work. Oh my God. Mehdi, listen, I appreciate the super chat. How do you become a man? Let me see if I can answer this question in 10 seconds or less. Lift a lot of weights, save a lot of money. Don't be afraid to act like a man around women. Listen, that answer encompasses so many things, but those three things, those three things will definitely get you on your way. John B is now a chat member. I appreciate him. He just gave me the $20 super chat that ended up being a $200 super chat. Thanks to the typo. Appreciate that. Joe Smith with another $5 super chat says, "How do we not get cynical when it comes to the laws favoring women? The issue on women generally just seems like it's not worth the headache." I agree. Listen, that's a trick question. Like, there is no way to not be cynical of the system. There's no way to not be cynical about the laws that favor women and harm men in this country, man. Listen, I think being cynical of the laws that favor women, especially in the family courts, I think that's what causes men to protect themselves. I really do. And I'm going to have Coach Greg Adams on the show in about an hour and a half, 6 o'clock Eastern. And listen, I'm sure he'll have plenty to say about that. That's for sure. Khalil G with the $5 super chat says, "I've had women willingly want to don the oh boy. Is it the niqab? AKA burqa for me, Muslim or non-Muslim." See that? You see that? Khalil G is a Muslim, okay? And he and women are willing to don the female version of the burqa. You see? There it is. Doesn't matter. Dude, you see white girls all the time. Or not all the time, but it doesn't matter what race or religion she is. If she likes you enough, if she loves you enough, if you're dominant enough, if you're alpha enough, dude, girls will adopt whatever religion you adopt. Pimped Out Geese says, here's a question. How's Mark from Love and Blind's faith working out for him? We're going to find out here at the top of the hour when I move this bad boy over to Sharpe Stream and we stream we break down Love is Blind. Looking forward to that. All right, let's go back to the phone lines here. Area code 760. Area code 760, you're on live at Donovan. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Donovan. It's Chris from San Diego.
Hey, Chris. How's it going, man?
It's going good. I wanted to jump in here talking about church and how they set everything up as like the beta males. It all stems from the leaderships. I grew up in a church setting, went to various churches in California, and all the leaders, they would always kind of make these side jokes like, "Oh, I don't want to do anything that pisses off my woman."
Right.
Unfortunately, from the leadership position, they always say, "Oh, women are the prize. Women are the prize."
Yep.
Well, that trickles down to the rest of the congregation. The guys are like, "Oh, women are on the prize." I'm untraining myself in that regard. Thanks to content like you, Coach Greg, Joker, all those guys. I'm like, okay, I need to rechange my mindset because I was indoctrinated in that church system.
And it's almost, Chris, as though even if they don't say you must bow down to your wife, the fact that church leaders are saying, "Hey, happy wife, happy life. Let's not do anything to upset the wife," that sort of indirectly tells men to kowtow to their women. I've never thought of it that way, but you're absolutely right. I'll give you the last word.
Exactly. Yeah. Just growing up in the church setting, like I'd hear those jokes. I'm like, I don't get what's so funny. But then now I'm seeing it now that with the red pill awareness, I'm like, holy crap, this is not healthy. And I actually, the last relationship I was in that kind of led me to the red pill, she was all about like, well, you don't believe in church and this and that. Like, you've had bad things. I'm like, well, yeah, because the church doesn't line up with my values of being a man and standing up for myself and not taking crap from various leaders who tell me I should subdue myself and do something that isn't as beneficial to the world.
Absolutely. I appreciate the call, Chris. Very, very good call, Chris in San Diego. Yeah, I never thought, it's interesting. He's right. Even if a preacher, pastor, whatever, isn't saying you must bow down to a woman, when they make statements like happy wife, happy life, and my wife is the boss and things of that nature, that indirectly tells men that women are indeed the boss of a relationship. That is a very astute observation, as I realize now that I have not completed my scroll. It is Monday, March 31st. Very good. Excellent. Got that all squared away and taken care of. All right, let's keep the party going. Area code 951. Area code 951. You're on Live at Donovan. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Donovan. I'm calling out from Corona. How's it going?
Good. What's your first name?
Yeah. Excuse me?
Your first name?
Oh, sorry about that. Raymond.
Oh, Raymond in Corona. Okay.
Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah. Live out in Corona, California. Yeah, so just talking on the whole women in the Bible, you know what? All your callers have been spot on, and I just want to give a shout out to all of them. And I just want to leave a few Bible verses, not that I'm going to read it all, but just anybody listening, read 1 Corinthians 14, 34 through 35, 1 Timothy 2 through 11, Isaiah 3:16. And if you read the Bible, because I want to put it this way, Christianity as well as Jesus Christ, they're all alphas.
Yes.
Everything the Bible teaches is all about alpha male. It's just that, like other callers have said, betas have infiltrated the church, these liberal ideals, which is why a lot of people can agree to this, that most liberal women are not Christian women. Let's just put it this way.
That's right.
That's why I tell people do not date a liberal black woman, because I'm black and the majority of the women I date are black. So I just try to put it like, if she's a liberal black woman, do not date her. Especially if you're a Christian man, because all you're going to do is set yourself up for failure. And then just to leave you guys with one last thing, the book of Ecclesiasticus, and I don't know why they don't teach this stuff in some churches.
Okay.
It even says it. A woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger, impudence, and much reproach. And I'm speaking mostly to black males, because look it, a lot of these black males allow their women to maintain them, and the Bible even tells you this, that if you allow a woman to maintain you, she's full of anger, impudence, and much reproach. So what do you expect? Like, the Bible gives you guys red pill game.
Right.
Like,
it tells you what women are.
Right.
It tells you what women are.
Yeah.
Listen, do me a favor, Raymond. For those of you who missed the Bible verses, because again, I mean, I try to be respectful. Read off those Bible verses one more time for the audience, or for anyone who wasn't able to hear them. The list of Bible verses.
Okay. 1 Corinthians 14, 34 through 35. That's chapter 14, verse 34 through 35.
Okay.
1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 11 through 13. Isaiah 3:16. And then Ecclesiasticus, you will have to have the King James Apocrypha version.
Oh, okay.
That is Ecclesiasticus 25:22, chapter 25, verse 22.
Excellent. Raymond, I do appreciate you imparting some wisdom and knowledge on us. Thank you. Listen, I'm sure that the Christian men probably appreciate those Bible verses. I hear this stuff from guys like this all the time. There's so much red pill truth in the Bible. The problem is that both the beta males and the women in the church are picking out the bits that are most convenient for them. That's the way it goes. And listen, I used to be able to recite all the books of the Bible, okay? And I think the last time I recited all the books of the Bible, I think I was maybe 9 years old. And I could probably do the Old Testament. I know I can't do. Let me try the New Testament. Okay, Matthew, Mark, and I'm not looking at anything. I'll do it with my eyes closed, just so you guys don't think I have it on the screen. Here we go. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts, Romans, 1st and 2nd Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, 1st and 2nd Timothy, Titus, and Philemon. Hebrews, James, 1st and 2nd Peter, 1st, 2nd, 3rd John, Jude, and Revelation. That's it. This is how deep ingrained we were in the church, guys. Like a lot of us were raised in the church. And then you kind of grow up and you kind of, feminism takes hold, and that's a wrap. That's a wrap, man. Dude, I haven't recited the New Testament since I was 9, 10 years old. I have no idea how I was able to remember that. Holy shit. Ay, ay, ay. Amir Kirmani with the $5 super chat says Prophet Muhammad as a preacher, 1 wife, as in Amir, 10 wives. Hypergamy as real as gravity. Oh, shit. Damn. God damn. Amir, 10 wives as an Amir. As a prophet, as a preacher, 1 wife. As an Amir, 10 wives. Straight up. I Bramblebush with a $10 super chat. This is a very good comment. He says, red pill truth does not change. Women do not change. The Bible truth does not change. Where men are having a problem is the socialization that comes from man. Be aware and separate the two. Very, very well put. Very well put. Wow, that's actually quite... Let me read that again, guys. Let me read that again. Red pill truth does not change. Women do not change. The Bible truth does not change. Where men are having a problem is the socialization that comes from man. Be aware and separate the two. That's the comment of the day right there, man. Very good. Tyrone, 100% migraine. That's an interesting name. with the 5-pound super chat, says due to the isolation, divorce rate went through the roof in China. Only a matter of time before we catch up. Keep giving migraines kings. Salute, Donovan. Appreciate that. Ace and Spades with the $2 super chat says showing support. Nandina with the 5-pound super chat says, what's up, my main man, Donovan. Appreciate that. Yeah, very, very good. Very, very good. Very good call there. You guys seem to be marveling. You guys seem to be marveling of my recital of the New Testament. Red Pill Medic says, I can't even do that. Yes, I nailed it. That was pretty impressive. I get an extra point for not saying Revelations. Yes. I think I remember Revelation 3:20. Oh, boy. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come in and sup with him and he with me. Wow. Ooh. I don't know how I'm able to recall this stuff, guys. Like, I've had a great memory my whole life, okay? And in church, nobody memorized Bible verses as well as I did. Like, dude, I obliterated everybody all the time. It's amazing that I even still know some of them. Holy shit. Excellent. All right, let's get back to the... Oh, wait a minute. Got another super chat here. C-Dub with the $5 super chat says, pimped out geese. He says, great point, because LIB Mark is young beta simp. His Christianity didn't save him from being schooled by a post-wall woman. Okay. Joe Smith with a $5 super chat says, it literally says in the Old Testament that in a woman's heart is wickedness and scheming. You know what? Listen, the Bible tells you what women are. The Bible tells you what women are, guys. They tell you what women are, guys. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. Let us go to area code 647. Area code 647. You're on live at Donovan. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
How's it going, Donovan? This is Mike. I'm calling from Toronto.
Mike in Toronto. How's it going, man?
I'm good. So a lot of what I wanted to talk about, you kind of already covered. I definitely agreed with you as far as the why being upstanding Christian man is just not nearly enough to attract a woman. Right. That has everything to do with Christian morality only works in a community setting. Ooh. And you really covered that pretty well. One aspect that I feel like nobody really talked about, though, is that in general in society, more and more men being outside of the house was that destructive force kind of swept across society, including the church. Another thing that I just wanted to mention that is, again, in agreement with some things that you already said, is just kind of an example. Just like if you look at any cult, you're clearly seeing how, number one, game trumps everything.
Absolutely.
And two, that women will just believe anything that the most dominant man believes.
There it is. There it is. Listen, what Mike just said is 100% true. And believe it or not, Mike, cult. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, even to the point when it comes to these cult guys, where the men in the cult will offer their women to the men.
Unbelievable. And guess what? The cult leader is fucking all the women. Listen, and I would even go as far as to say this, Mike, and you can tell me whether you agree or disagree. I think that today's Christian leaders embody some of the same characteristics as men who run cults. What say you?
I actually made some notes to talk to you. My final note was that what these Christian pastors do nowadays is that they prey on weak and naive men. And the simple fact is that even as much as they go to church and they read the Bible, they can't even spot evil. Like, me and you can easily say that a guy who pretends to be a pastor and is fucking everybody's wife, that guy's evil, right?
Yep, that's right.
They're still willing to give this guy a break. Pastor slipped up.
Yeah, right.
And in reality, it's totally to his advantage to beta-ize everybody else so you can bag your wife.
There you go, man. Listen, thank you very much for the call, Mike in Toronto. That's one thing that I hadn't thought of. Cult leaders, and look at the cult leaders. I don't know who the only cult leader that I can really. There was the Jonestown thing, or Jonestown, or Johnstown. I don't know what that is. Him. There was David Koresh. I don't know. Cult leaders. David. Yeah, right. These cult leaders are not really that good looking. They're not the apex alpha male looking types. No, they're just regular guys. Charles Manson was a young, crazy guy from California. Women followed and did whatever he did whatever he told them to do. Yes, there we are. Jim Jones. Absolutely. Thank you very much, Nandina. Yeah, Jim Jones. That's him, the Reverend Jim Jones. Yeah, listen, these guys aren't great looking guys, but these men had supreme game. Dude, cult leaders have supreme game, man. They have absolutely. I don't know, man. If you want to know, if you want to really, really get into, if you really want to get into cults, then, or if you really want game, I don't know. Maybe somebody needs to write a book, How to Start a Cult. I think that's probably some pretty good information in there. Area code 760. Area code 760. You're on live with Donovan. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, 760 has dropped. Okay. Let's go to area code 215. Area code 215. Oh, wait a minute. You gotta turn down your radio.
Hello?
Yeah,
Hello?
I can hear myself in the background.
All right, so can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
All right. Hey, Donovan, it's Dan from Philly. I'm a truck driver, so right now I'm driving in Indiana. So you might just hear some background sounds because I'm driving.
Okay.
But I wanted to go along with what you guys were talking about women just not being that attracted to guys who are devout Christians.
Yes.
And I also had like a little bit of a disconnect of something that you emphasize often that I wanted to talk to you about. But first, one of the main reasons why women don't like guys that are devout Christians is because these bitches ain't shit. So it's like, for real, it's like if a chick, if she done screwed over 27 guys and then she meets a guy that's holier than thou that she's always with, she's like, in her mind, when she's around him, she's like, damn, I'm going to hell.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's just how it is. And then on top of that, women, they're attracted to, a ton of things, money and all that. We all understand that. But one thing that they're attracted to that most guys that are devout Christians don't have is that they're attracted to guys who have swagger.
That's right.
So it's like, like back in high school, the guy who won best dressed always got women.
Yes.
Always got girls.
Right.
Whoever was best dressed in high school always got girls, because the easiest way for a woman to strike a conversation with a guy without looking like, a thirsty hoe is just like, oh, I like your shoes, or I like your outfits. It doesn't come off like,
right.
she's just a chick that's, exactly. So, but the thing that I had the little disconnect to you with was, I know that you emphasized that you would never sleep with a woman. You would never wife a chick that slept with you on the first date. And that makes perfect sense. But the thing is, just from my experience, whenever I haven't gotten, any type of play from a woman on the first date, like, anything that wasn't more than a kiss on the first date, it was like she always just fell off, or I felt like she seen me as an option,
Yes.
So my whole thing is like, if I meet a woman and I take her out on a date, I have to get some type of play. Because, some women, they don't want to have sex, they're virgins. I respect that.
Sure.
But if I can't at least get a make-out session and a hand job, I can't deal with you because in my mind, you did it for somebody else on the first night. Don't give me that bullshit that you never did absolutely nothing with a dude on the first night.
No,
so
listen.
If you don't do it with me on the first night, that's basically telling me that you don't like me enough to do it.
Listen, I 100% agree with you, Ken. However, if you're, and again, this is, and I think you're a young guy. You're like 25, if I remember correctly. How old are you?
I'm 24. This is my second time calling in. I called in like a few weeks ago.
Okay, yeah, I thought I remembered you. I thought I remember you were right in that mid-20s range. Here's the thing. In my course, I think it's How to Build a Quality Woman from the Ground Up, one of my chapters was how to shit test women. And the way you shit test a woman is you try to fuck her on the first date. If a woman lets you sleep with her on the first date, you know you will never commit to that woman. Now, women might say, well, Donovan, if you try to sleep with a woman on the first date and she sleeps with you, aren't you to blame for the fact that you're not going to commit to her? Au contraire. I didn't force you to sleep with me on the first date. You did so of your own free will and volition, as I always said. Well, then, if you hadn't, so let me get this straight. You had sex with me because I wanted you to, or you had sex with me because you wanted to, but wanted to blame me for it. Now, then women would say, but Donovan, and thanks for the call, Ken, I appreciate that. But then women would say, but Donovan, if I don't sleep with the guy on the first date, he falls off. Well, you know what that means, Miss Missy? That means he wasn't ready for a relationship. That means that that's not what he was looking for. And ladies, if you're watching, because what Ken said is absolutely correct. If a guy doesn't sleep with you or if he doesn't try to sleep with you on the first date, right? Or if he tries to sleep with you on the first date and you don't, and he ghosts, he wasn't looking for a relationship in the first place. And that's not the kind of man you want to be with, right? Like, why pursue a man who clearly doesn't want to be in a relationship? Okay, great. That's how that goes. But on the other side of that coin, as far as men are concerned, well, Donovan, she didn't let me smash on the first date. And like Ken said, listen, I just fall off because I know she's done that with other guys. Chances are she probably has, but there are exceptions to the rule, however rare they may be. Here's how it goes, guys. There are, however rare they may be, there are actually good women out there who will not sleep with you on the first, second, or third date. There are women out there who have only had sex with 2 or 3 guys. They take sex very seriously. They really and truly don't have sex with guys on the first date. They really and truly, this is a principle. This is truly what they believe in. So how do you tell the difference between a true good girl and a girl who is trying to feign that she's a good girl? Here's the difference. If a woman truly is a good girl, you try to sleep with her on the first date, she doesn't let you. A good girl, okay, a true, and I know these are very, very rare, but a woman who is not a slut, if you try to fuck her on the first date and she resists, she will continue to show that same interest in you. A girl who's a slut will she'll probably smash on the 3rd or 4th date. If she really is a good girl, you can date that girl for a month. She will not make you feel like she's a plan B. You know you're the number one and only guy she is talking to. If you don't sleep with her, you can try as you might. You've tried 5-6 times. You can't do it, but she's still blowing you up. She's still on your line. She's texting you every morning. You know where she is. She makes it a point to tell you where she is. You try to fuck her again. She doesn't. Wow, you know what? She hasn't had sex with me yet, but like she's all over me. Like she's texted me 15, 20 times a day. She comes over all the time. That's when you know she's a good girl. Girls who are pretending to be a good girl, at some point, they're going to let you fuck. And it's probably going to be within a week. Very, 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 very good call there by Ken the Trucker. Marcus. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on a second. I'm sorry. John Rampage with the $2 super chat says, will this stay on YouTube? And thanks for everything. Yes, this will stay on YouTube. Dark Negroid, welcome to Chat Privileges. Appreciate that. Marcus A with $5.99 super chat says live show is going hard. Callers dropping truth. Yeah, real talk. John Bachman with another $5 super chat. Holy shit. Too bad I didn't make a typo on that one, right? Beta supplication to a woman, he says, is simply another form of idolatry. God punishes by having her zero him out. Ironic. Wow. That is 100% correct. The Bible teaches idolatry. The Bible teaches that you should not idolize anyone. Guess what? Men idolize women all the time. And for this, if you really are a believer in God, this is probably the reason women are zeroing dudes out. You're idolizing women. That you're guilty of idolatry. So God says, whoop, blows them up. Very good comment there. Very good comment there. Cool Hand with the $5 super chat says, is your real name Kevin? Playa? I don't know. Is it? Appreciate the $5 super chat. Pug Dad with the $5 super chat says, Tommy Sotomayor is about to do a show on Marilyn York on TED Talks. Thank you for mentioning her. The word is spreading. Yes. Yes. Several of you have sent me the Pine Frank actually sent me the Marilyn York. This is the divorce attorney in Reno who only represents men. This is Marilyn York. She did a TED Talk. It's not a TED Talk worth talking about because she pretty much just echoes what I echo. But the fact that Marilyn York was able to do a TED Talk, and she did this at UNR, University of Nevada, Reno. She did it at UNR, and yeah, I mean, the fact that she was able or allowed to do that kind of TED Talk, I don't know, maybe we are making some progress. Who knows? Who knows? Probably not. All right, area code 760. Another area code 760. You're on live with Donovan. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Donovan, how's it going? It's Corey.
Hey, Corey, how you doing, brother? This is
What's going on?
By the way, this is Corey. This is your YouTube channel is A God Amongst Men, correct?
That's correct.
Right. Okay, so this is Corey from A God Amongst Men. You guys have to subscribe to his YouTube channel. So what's on your mind, Corey?
Hey, so first and foremost, there's a lot of stuff to cover here, but I'm going to try to keep it as brief as possible.
Okay.
The thing that I'm seeing is this. You know, Gerald said in the beginning of this stuff, he tried to operate a system based off of living this Christ-like behavior set.
Right.
But where did that get him?
Didn't get him anywhere.
Where did that get him with women? So all those guys, all these guys that are out here saying, oh, you know, Christ wasn't beta, Christianity isn't beta, all you got to do is look at the proof in the pudding. It's funny because Gerald still, at the end of it, he said, you know, you got to get muscles, you got to get money and all this other stuff.
That's right.
But then he said you still got to live a Christ-like life. And it's like, dude, that's the absolute opposite. You know what you guys need to be doing? You need to be going out there. You need to be fucking a bunch of women, and you need to learn female nature.
That's it.
Nothing. There's a little bit in the Bible that tells you about female nature, but on the sexual marketplace and their true solipsism and open hypergamy and all this stuff, you don't learn it until you're out there. But you want to know why people don't do that? It's because they're scared. They're scared of being judged. They're scared of facing eternal damnation. So they instead cop out and say, oh, I'm going to live this Christ-like life and not sleep with all these women. We've talked about this before on your show where it's like men try to take this whole approach of being this pure type of person, believing in chastity.
Yeah, all that nonsense.
And all this other stuff.
Yeah,
and guess what?
bunch of bullshit.
That's beta behavior. That is beta behavior. And if you're trying to mimic Christ, guess what? You're going to get the same fucking results, guys.
That's right.
So for those of you guys out there that are all obsessed, with maintaining this Christ-like stuff and following Christ and all this other shit, you're hurting yourself. You're hurting yourself with your belief system. But let's talk about why you're doing this. Why is it? And the biggest reason and the issue that we have in our society today, the reason why these guys do this is because they're scared.
Yep.
They're fearful of death because they don't want to go into the quote-unquote afterlife being judged and not knowing where they're going to go. And this is the biggest lie and the biggest myth when it comes to religion. This is how they control you.
Yeah.
They control you through fear, guilt, and shame because you're scared of death. Somebody asked the question, how do I become a man in the chat earlier?
Yeah, right.
You know how you become a man? You adopt the archetype of the warrior. I just did a show on this yesterday. Highly recommend you hop over and watch this. Why is that? Because there's very rarely anything mentioned in the Bible about you becoming an alpha male or a warrior. It's turn the other cheek. Oh, Corey, Jesus flipped over some tables. Yeah, you know what that's called? That's called a fucking tantrum. That's not called a fucking direct strike. You know what I'm saying, dude?
Yeah, you're right.
It's like Kylo Ren. I don't know if you watch Star Wars at all, but everyone's like, Kylo Ren's a bitch because he throws little fucking tantrums. It doesn't mean he's fucking alpha. He's a little beta in a authority position. The next thing I want to talk about, so that's the thing, guys, you're scared of death. You're scared of dying. You're also scared of believing in the system that your parents taught you to believe in. So, or not believing in the system that your parents taught you to believe in. So the whole thing is you're operating from a state of fear because you don't want to be wrong. And that's a scary thing to fucking consider. Ooh, I'm going to die. And what happens when I'm dead and I do show up and I'm at the pearly gates and Jesus is there and he's like, oh, you besmirched me or some bullshit. Guys, that's not going to fucking happen. Get over that. That's a fucking fairy tale. The next thing is this. The reason why the church is beta as well is this. Pastors for such a long time, especially people in like the Roman Catholic deal, they tried to make all the leaders of the church pure.
Right.
So like bishops, cardinals, all these people, they never ever slept with women growing up.
Oh, wow.
So that's how
that I didn't
beta
know.
was, because guess what? These leaders led the church and they never had any fucking understanding of women's true nature. It's, again, going back to this thing, there's a direct comparison between Christians and feminists right now. Really
yes, there
fucking
is.
Look at it.
Yes, there is.
Why is that? Because they believe in an idealistic version of the world. You guys are trying to use this belief system to run away from the reality of the situation. Being an alpha right now in the world is a choice. But the same token, you guys are still using this beta mapping and choosing to be beta, choosing to follow somebody. Even if you do choose to, like, be your own, like, somebody asked a question earlier today in the chat too. What about the whole thing with, like, enlightenment or what's it called? Asking what Rollo's approach was on this whole thing.
That was completely,
That's exactly
what do you think of that? Because I didn't understand the question.
So, So that's exactly what it comes down to, is if you do not choose to be the leader of your own life and make your choices and say, this is the direction that I'm going down, you're constantly going to be fucking looking for a leader or someone for you to follow. What is a beta? A beta is essentially a follower. It's someone who has to be led by another authority. And the problem is, a lot of people out there are looking at an authority in the sky that they can't really talk to, they can't really see, and can't really be led by. It's a fairy tale. So the thing is, you need to take the responsibility for your life and lead your life in the direction you need to go down. And a lot of it comes down to making the right fucking choices. You need to get over the fact that sleeping with numerous women, having numerous women in your life, doing XYZ, it is not evil. It's nothing you should be ashamed of. It's a learning thing. It's a way for you to take control over your life. And that's where I see a lot of people going wrong in today's society when it comes to understanding red pill and still trying to stay married to the blue pill world of the church.
Yeah.
Like, you have to go through that.
Yeah,
you have to go through that ritual. You have to go through that knowledge. And a lot of you guys out there are denying that because you're scared you're going to be judged by this higher fucking authority based on you doing that, because the church brainwashed you.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that was Corey from, what happens is that Blog Talk Radio allows me another hour. After it ends, it allows me another hour to, Corey, are you still there? Damn, hang on a second. Let me see if I can bring somebody on. Nah. Yeah, it only allows me to go on for an hour. At any rate, I put the link to the episode that Corey was talking about, the episode that he talked about that he did. So the link is in the chat. Link is in the chat. All right, let me go up and read the rest of these super chats here. Merciless 6 with the $5 super chat said men should study pastors. They have the gift of gab, but pastors study psychology too. Ask L. Ron Hubbard. L. Ron Hubbard is the founder of the Church of Scientology. Good comment there by Merciless 6. Amar Kimani says, what about the girl who wants a married man? Well, listen, if a girl wants a married man, then she's a hoe. If an American woman if a Western woman wants a married, and there's some women out here who only go after married men. Listen, if she wants a married man, there's nothing you can do about that. And there are a lot of girls out there. There are a lot of girls out here who do only go after married men. Nothing you can do about that. There is absolutely nothing you can do about that. That is what it is. Joe Majesty with the $2 super chat. Looks like I have an extra life. Barack Zenmaster with the €10 super chat says, I have an online marketing business with 100,000 per month revenue, and I want to go into monk mode to grow my annual revenue to multi-million. Do you have any tips? Best regards from Germany. Yeah, monk mode is the reset button. The things that you need to do during monk mode are very simple. Deactivate all social media. Cut yourself off from the outside world. Okay, get off the grid. Consume red pill content every day. Work your body out every day. Dude, do some sort of exercise, aerobic, weightlifting, etc., etc. Spend some time outside. I would say at least an hour a day outside. I usually have all those notes in front of me, but those are the things that I would do if I were you. Get off the grid, deactivate your social media, separate yourself from your friends for a little while. Just allow yourself to thrive in isolation and build up your body and your mind. That's the best I can do. And I would say do that I would do that for 2 months if I were you, because you seem to be well off financially. Obviously, make sure your business is still doing well and all that stuff. But that's exactly what I would. That's exactly what I would do if I were in your shoes. Appreciate the super chat there. Lexington says that camera movement is on point. Yeah, appreciate that. Yep, I installed the new. I got another tripod, and with that tripod, I've got a new. It adds another dimension. It pans up, but it also pans out, just to give you guys a little more of a realistic television type feel. Dude, I have all kinds of ideas. I can tell you that this is absolutely not my next studio. This is not my last studio. I can tell you that the studio that I build next, it's going to blow. Dude, it's going to blow even this one away. There's going to be all sorts of bells and whistles in that one. I cannot wait. That's at least a year and some change off. That's a year and some change off. But I appreciate that. Again, I work very, very hard on presentation. That's for sure. Let's see here. So Joe Smith with the $5 super chat says, everything the caller said is true. If you want to be of the world, there is no peace or salvation in materialism. Good point. Nonstop Dre 360 with the $2 super chat says, religion has always been nothing more than a tool. A lot of people think that way. They do. Karn with the $10 super chat says, I think some people use the going to church, he puts in quotes, as an easy virtue filter for selecting girls. It's not. In my opinion, like everything else, work on yourself and apply your filters to find a good woman. Wow. Yeah. See, guys foolishly think, and Stefan Molyneux, I mean, bless the guy's heart. Stefan Molyneux tells guys, I've heard him on a couple occasions tell guys, hey, if you want a good woman, look in the church. He's dead fucking wrong. Dude, women and I think he lives in Canada. Dude, Canada and the U.S. are hotbeds for feminism, man. And listen, in his defense, he hasn't been on the dating market. What's he been married like 20, 25, 30 years? He doesn't know what happens. He doesn't know what happens with women because he's not out here in these streets. Either that or he's not paying attention. But if he were paying attention, he would not be advising men to seek women in the church, because God-fearing religious women, they are every bit as, if not more, hypergamous than worldly women. Taboo Smash with the $2 super chat says they will buy stuff like PS4, Xbox, or TV too. Yeah, absolutely. Very, very true. My thanks to all of my super chatters and all of my callers. I appreciate you guys for calling in. I have now activated the I'm gonna start streaming to Sharpe Stream here very, very shortly. Let me go ahead and put the link in the chat. So what I'm going to be doing, guys, is I am going to be doing the rest of this episode. I'm going to be continuing my Love is Blind breakdown. I'll be breaking down the very popular Netflix show Love is Blind over the next 2 weeks. I'm going to break down every episode. I watch the episodes in there, and I don't watch the whole episode. I usually watch maybe half of the episode, maybe a third of the episode. But I watch all the episodes in their entirety, and I give play-by-play. I tell you guys where the red pill nuggets are, what's really going on, what she says versus what she means. That, of course, is going to directly correlate. Into my course, Womanese 101, What She Says versus What She Means, which is going to drop on May 1st. It's going to drop on the weekend of May the 1st. That is a Friday. It's going to drop on the weekend of May the 1st. And if you are a patron, you are going to get 25% off of my course. You're going to get 25% off my course on May the 1st. It's actually going to be May the 1st through Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It'll be May 1st through May 3rd. So Friday through Sunday, that's when you will get 25% off of my course, How to Master the Game. Womanese 101, What She Says versus What She Means. Again, Womanese 101, What She Says versus What She Means. That is going to drop on May the 1st. So you guys can look forward to that. And I'll be doing shows. I'll probably send out some emails here in a little bit. I'll probably build a list. If you guys want to be notified of when it comes out, I'm gonna put a link on my website, donovansharpe.com and sharpestream.com to let you guys know to be notified in terms of when the course is going to drop. But as of right now, it's going to be May the 1st. I don't know what time exactly. I'm probably thinking, 9 or 10 in the morning. We'll see. But May the 1st is when my new, it is a video course. Womanese 101, What She Says versus What She Means. And guys, this is going to be spectacular. This is going to be nothing short of spectacular. I think that this course has the potential to sort of change things forever. And I'm not exaggerating here. I really do believe that no one has ever done a course like this. No one has ever done a course that literally tells men. If you go to like websites that say, hey, what she says versus what she means, the things that they're talking about is like, if she says the word fine, what she means, I am not fine. If she says, yeah, I'm okay with it, I am not okay with it, and I will admit, no, it ain't gonna be like that. It is not gonna be like that. This is going to be 100% raw and real red pill truth, as only you guys can expect from me. So be sure to Nonstop Dre 360 wants to know how much the course will cost. I don't know, but even if I did, I don't announce the prices. You guys are just gonna have to wait and see for yourselves. You guys have to wait and see for yourselves. So go to sharpestream.com if you guys want to watch the rest of my to watch the Love Is Blind breakdown. I usually post about maybe a 5 or 10 minute snippet of my breakdowns on YouTube. You can kind of see it from there, and then of course they'll be available on Patreon. So go ahead and get on over to sharpestream.com. The link is in the chat and it's in the description. So head on over there right now. Yes, it is live right now. I got 131 people over there and counting. So I'm hoping to see you guys over there. Excellent. That is going to do it for this edition of TSR Live. I thank you very much to all of my super chatters and my hyper intelligent callers. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you the same time tomorrow.